The charity play of the week cashed in for the 7th time in 10 weeks and the 31st time in 49 weeks, and it was rather easy last night. Brad Wilton with his Big 12 total of the month, with Iowa State and Baylor only going over by 33 points. You got that play for free. Now it's quid pro quo time. Listen, guys, in the 4.5 years since I started the Charity Play of the Week program, I've often repeated the stories for certain individuals or families or for causes, because unfortunately what happens when you have these online fundraising sites and family members or the families themselves put it up is that they often just don't get enough publicity. You know, you'll often read about the stories on the news that somebody set up a fundraising or GoFundMe page. It has raised tens of thousands of dollars. That's the exception rather than the rule. And it's always bothered me in a certain way that, you know, I may feature somebody and then a plethora of donations are made that particular week, and then they just disappear and the well runs dry. Unfortunately, that's the way it is often with these online fundraising sites. So I wanted to take the opportunity to once again repeat last week's family recipient, a family out of Independence, Missouri, who ironically I first featured back in February of 2013. They've got a little girl by the name of Zoe who has two very rare neurological conditions. And for a number of years, they were trying to come up with a diagnosis and treatment for them. When I launched the page explaining this family's plight last week, I didn't realize until a few days later when I went back and researched their site further that the news was not good, that doctors found that there is no cure for these diseases. And even worse, that this little girl who's on like 3 dozen medications each day, she's now slowly losing brain function, her mother reported in her online journal. So again, I'm asking you to dig deep, to make a donation, to participate in the program. And it doesn't matter whether you gave last week or not. You won again for free. That's what really counts in my book. You'll see I put another $250 in it today, just like I did last week. And I'm asking you to do the same. It doesn't have to be $250. It doesn't have to be $25. It can be $5. I don't care. It's just the point of giving. Never going to have enough positive karma, guys. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. But as you have seen through the Charity Play of the Week program, there are so many out there that are in far worse shape than you or I. And listen, it never hurts to help somebody else in a time of need. And as her mother wrote on her site last week so eloquently, right now we could use help paying down some of our medical bills and helping cover well over $1,000 a month in medications. Even $5 is a huge help. Thank you so much in advance for taking the time to love Zoe, my daughter, of course, and help our family. It means more than you will ever know. I couldn't have said it better. So if you happen to be watching the video here on the homepage, please make a contribution by scrolling down and clicking on the link. I'm going to get right to the free plays because I'm going to rush here, guys, today. So if you don't mind, I'm going to get right to them. Your first complimentary play is going to be the late night contest on the card, one of the later games on the card. It's the USC game at home against Colorado. USC returns home after once again losing on the road. Nothing new there for Andy Enfield's club, losing to Arizona State and Arizona over the weekend. They're an 8-point favorite at home. Why? Because they are undefeated at home, 14-0, and their offense just clicks at home. I think they have 6 double-figure scores on that team. They are 0-7 in the series against Colorado since the Buffaloes joined the Pac-12, but they've got a great chance to win this game tonight, especially if Colorado's best player, Josh Scott, their leading scorer and rebounder, the 6'10" forward who averages close to 17 points and a little over 9 rebounds a game, doesn't play because of an ankle injury. Now, he missed the 2 games that Colorado did win, but barely at home against Washington and Washington State last weekend with this ankle injury. He is a game-time decision tonight. But the fact is, this is not necessarily a play predicated on whether or not Scott plays. It's more of a play predicated on the fact that USC has just been a dynamite play at home. Now listen, Colorado won last year's game in triple overtime at USC. But the guy, Booker, the guard, Askia Booker, who had a career-high 43 points, he's no longer a member of the Buffaloes. But the 2 guys for USC, Reinhardt and Jovanovic, who scored 30 points each, they're still playing for the Trojans. I'm going to go with them here to snap their losing streak and to rebound with another home win as they remain undefeated at home. Your next complimentary play, I'm going to take a look at the game between, let me see here. I just want to make sure I'm doing these in reverse chronological order. Number 1, Villanova against my Temple Owls, and I say that jokingly. But anyway, listen, this game's at the Leo Coors Center, North Broad Street in Philadelphia. Temple is an 8.5-point underdog. I think Villanova wins this game, but how can you really get that enthused about a Villanova team that's 4-4 against the spread on the road this season? I think this is plenty of points to get with the Owls, who have won 7 straight at home, beating along the way a decent Cincinnati team, handing SMU their first loss of the season, beating Connecticut as well, prevailing in quadruple revenge in overtime against Tulsa. They've won 8 of their last 9 overall. I think in this game that you have to like the matchups because Villanova is not a team that has excessive size. Now that Jalen Bond, the 6'7" forward who transferred to Temple from Texas a couple years ago, is back recovered and playing well once more, he should be able to do more than enough damage down on the boards. Meanwhile, Villanova is a guard-oriented team. Temple has talent at the guard spots, and they have some height and size as well. So I think this is going to be a close game, 3 or 4 point game. I think Temple will try to slow down the tempo and the pace in this contest, and I like the Owls plus the points here. Your other play, I'm going to go with Xavier minus the 8 at home against Providence. Now, Xavier rebounded from a awful performance at Creighton when they lost by 14 points last week to beat Butler on the road on Saturday, 74-57. They won that game by 17 points, even though they committed 15 turnovers in this game. You know, you look at the Musketeers and you wonder sometimes when they're playing at home, how do they lose games sometimes? Remember when they lost? I certainly did because I bet on them that night. They were like a double-digit favorite, laying 10, and they lost outright to Georgetown about a month ago. Again, they are somewhat of a perplexing team to figure out. But I like them in this spot. I know the Friars are coming off a 75-72 win at home against Georgetown. But listen, they blew almost the entire 26-point lead they enjoyed in that game. And they had lost 3 of their previous 4 games anyway. Xavier won the first game at Providence, 75-68 in the first meeting about a month ago. Shot 50.8% from the field in the road game, and held Providence to 31.4% shooting in that game. You know, Chris Dunn had another good game, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Ben Bentel had 25 points, and yet Providence still lost that game at home. So I'm going to take Xavier minus the points here. I'm going to take Temple plus the points, and I'm going to lay the wood with USC to remain undefeated at home. Those are your 3 complimentary plays. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again on Thursday when we do this one more time.